Sir, in our next question, Rahul Manikam from the PGP course observes, of late, Lok Sabha seems to be increasingly utilizing the money bill provision to bypass Rajya Sabha scrutiny. Rahul asks the following questions in this context. First, does it not erode the power of Rajya Sabha? Second, is Rajya Sabha still relevant in contemporary parliamentary discourse? What are your views on the same, sir?
Well, Rahul, this is not happening recently. Framers of our constitution had created a space for Rajya Sabha under the constitution, and that is very significant. Rajya Sabha constitutionally forms the upper house of the bicameral parliament. In this, there is the assertion of federal nature of Indian polity. Rajya Sabha is eminently suited to strengthening the fundamental of our parliamentary democracy. It bears huge relevance, unlike Lok Sabha, as it is not subject to dissolution, and only 1/3 of its members retire after every 2 years. The manner of selection of Rajya Sabha members ensures effective voice of the states. Rahul will be very informed that Article 249 allows Parliament to legislate on matters in the state list if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by 2/3 of majority. Now this is very significant. State list by and large is preserved of state legislatures, but since Rajya Sabha by its constitution reflects state participation, a resolution in the Rajya Sabha will entitle Parliament to legislate on issues that are exclusive domain of state legislature. Yes. And that is something which cannot happen in Lok Sabha. Then there could be other issues where we need to fill up the gap if Rajya Sabha is functioning and Lok Sabha is under dissolution, and that is proclamation of President's rule. Now this is required to be approved both by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. A proclamation of President's rule has to be sanctified by approval of Parliament, both the houses. But if one of the houses is under dissolution, that is the Lok Sabha, it is the Rajya Sabha that does this job, and that keeps our democratic fabric alive and vibrant. Then there are certain issues which can be initiated only in Rajya Sabha and not in Lok Sabha, including removal of the Vice President. A resolution to that effect can take place only in Rajya Sabha, not in Lok Sabha. Then there would be situations where there could be deadlock between the two houses. Then a joint sitting takes place. Therein also Rajya Sabha role is very critical. As regards money bill, the prescription is not of late. It is right from the beginning. Under Article 109, primacy has been given to the Lok Sabha. Let's be very clear. Prime Minister of the country gets elected by Lok Sabha. Leader of the Lok Sabha who enjoys majority on the floor of Lok Sabha is the Prime Minister. And money bills, the final say is of Lok Sabha. But that does not mean Rajya Sabha has no role. A money bill, before it is approved or assented by the Honorable President, would come from Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha. And therein, the enlightened views of the members of Parliament in Rajya Sabha would be critical. And there may be situations where Lok Sabha may go by the wisdom reflected by the Rajya Sabha.
Sir, Jayant Yaduvir Singh Yadav from the EPGP course asks, what was your biggest challenge as the Governor of West Bengal and how did you overcome it?
Well, Jayant, it will not be very appropriate for me to reflect on the tenure of 3 years, as presently I happen to be Vice President of the country. But I can indicate that the office of President and Governor in this country are very different. The oath which the Honorable President takes and the Governor takes, they are different from the oath taken by other constitutional functionaries. The governor under Article 159 is ordained by the Constitution to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution and the law and serve the people of the state. Unlike this, the oath of office of Chief Minister or any other constitutional functionary is to subscribe to Constitution. So, while other constitutional functionaries, including the Chief Minister, are required to act in consonance with the Constitution, the governor is required to preserve, protect and defend it. So, if there is any transgression in governance of a constitutional prescription or a provision of law, the governor steps in. Framers of the Constitution have given this very important constitutional responsibility to the office of the governor, and that is why governor is a representative of the Honorable President on that count. So, role of the governor is very critical. In our country, unfortunately, governor is easy punching bag. If political dispensation at the center and in the state is not of the same party. Beyond that, it will not be appropriate for me to reflect.
Sir, a question from A. Harishankar from the PGP course. Where, according to you, is the line of divide between the authority of the state's representatives appointed by the union government and that of the state's representatives elected by the people? Of late, there have been instances of power tussles between these two entities. A recent example being the incident that occurred in the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. Your views, please, sir.
Well, again, it will not be very appropriate for me to go into the depth of it, but our constitutional functioning envisages that all constitutional authorities must act in tandem and togetherness and in public interest. I have already indicated governor is an easy punching bag. But I would urge everyone, particularly the bureaucracy, that they must in such a situation act in a manner to keep up the spirit of the Constitution and also bring about a seamless connect between the State Secretariat and the Raj Bhavan. It is obligation of all constitutional functionaries, governor and the Chief Minister in particular, to act in collaboration and not in confrontation. They must take recourse to dialogue and constitutional ordainment rather than discuss issues via public platform. I tried this with utmost commitment in the state of West Bengal. I leave it at that at the moment.